Good morning, class. Today we are going to learn chapter number 6, Tissues, part 1. In this class we are going to learn only plant tissues. There are two types of tissues in your syllabus, plant and animal tissues. In today's class we are learning plant tissues. Yeah. What is mean by cell? A cell is a structural and functional unit of life that we know. Then what is tissue? A tissue is a group of cells. Either these cells are similar or dissimilar but performs same function. So a tissue is a group of cells which perform same function. Then what is organ? A group of tissues which perform same function. Organ system, a group of organs which perform same function. Now you come to know what is the difference between cell, tissue, organ and organ system. Yes, now let's discuss about plant tissues. Plant tissues are basically classified into two types, meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. What is meant by meristematic tissue? The cells can multiply to produce new cells. As I told you, a tissue is made by cell. Here the cells which comes under meristematic tissue are, they have a capability to divide so that they can multiply. Cell division takes place in meristematic cells or tissues. What are permanent tissues? When meristematic tissue lose its capacity to divide, they become permanent tissue. So permanent tissue, these are the tissues which consist of cells which lost the capability to divide. So they are also called non-dividing cells, but they perform specialized functions. So they are specialized in nature. Next, let us see the definition. Meristematic tissue or meristem. They are found at all growing regions of the plant, such as the tips of root, stem and branches. As I told you, meristematic tissue, the cells which comes under meristematic tissue have the capability of cell division. Thereby it increases size of a plant as well as length of a plant. It helps in growth. So they are found in growing regions. Example, what are the growing regions? Tip of a root, tip of a shoot, leaf, flower. So these are the parts where meristematic tissues are present. Next, they are also present between the bark and wood of a tree, where it leads to growth in the diameter of a stem. As I told you, meristematic tissue increases both length as well as size. Here, meristematic tissue, they are also present between the bark and wood. What is meant by bark? You might have seen the outermost layer of a tree, the outermost part of a tree that we can peel off. We can peel it. Yeah, that is bark. So next to bark you can see the wood. So between bark and wood there is a meristematic tissue. What is its function? By increasing cell division, it also increases the girth or diameter of a tree. Next, what are the characteristics of meristematic tissues? Let us see. The cells are small, cubical in shape. See the picture, they are cubical in shape. Cell wall is very thin, that is why it helps in cell division. Nuclei are large. Vacuoles almost absent because there is no time to secrete or to accumulate substances within a vacuole. Cells are tightly packed without any intercellular spaces. Can you see the picture? Is there any space between the cell? No. So there is no intercellular spaces between these cells. Newly formed cells are transformed into mature permanent cells. Newly formed cells, after a few days, it becomes what? Permanent tissue. After maturation or after becoming permanent tissue, they lack the capability to divide, but they do particular function. Types of meristematic tissue. There are three types of meristematic tissue. Out of three, the first one is apical or terminal meristem. Second one, intercalary meristem. Third one, cambium or lateral meristem. First, let us see apical or terminal meristem. This is located near the tips of root and stems, also in the growing young leaves tip of axillary buds. Can you see the apical meristem in the picture? The first one. It is always present at the tips, root tip, shoot tip, and also tips of axillary buds, young leaves. Next, intercalary meristem. They are seen in some plants located near the node and increase its length. What is meant by node? See, I'll show you. I will give you one example for node. Node is a place where a branch or any modification arises. Say for example, internode. A space present between two nodes is nothing but internode. The best example is sugarcane. In sugarcane, we eat internode. Node is very thick. We throw that. So the space between two nodes is a internode. It is an edible part in sugarcane. So, intercalary meristem, it is seen in some plants located near the node and increase its length. It increases the length of a node. Next, cambium or lateral meristem. This cambium or lateral meristem is situated below the bark and is responsible for increase in diameter of a stem. As I told you, bark is the outermost part of a tree which can be peeled off. Below the bark, say for example, one of the bark example is cinnamon stick. It is a bark of a tree actually. So below the bark, between bark as well as wood, there is a meristematic tissue. What type of meristematic tissue? It is cambium or lateral. What is its function? It increases the diameter or size of a tree. Next, permanent tissue. When meristematic tissue loses its capacity to divide, they become permanent tissues. They are made up of cells which have lost their ability to divide. They take a permanent shape to perform some permanent function to perform. They may be living or dead. It depends. Next, according to the function they performed, the permanent tissue are classified into three types. Those are protection, supportive, and conductive. Based on protection, supporting, and conducting, the tissues are classified into different types. Let us see now. Protective tissue, as the name indicates, the permanent tissue gives protection, but there is no cell division. How the cells appear? Cells with thick walls or cell walls found on the surface of roots, stems, and leaves. Just like our skin, plant parts are protected by protective tissue. Example, epidermis or outermost layer of a leaf which secrete a waxy waterproof material. Supportive tissues which give support, they are classified into three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. They are also called simple permanent tissue. Why it is called simple? Because the tissue is made by only one type of cell. What is meant by complex tissue? Opposite to simple tissue. The tissue which is made up of more than one type of cell but perform similar function. First, let's discuss about parenchyma. This is the structure of parenchyma. Here the cells are large, thin-walled cells. The cell wall is very thin, oval in shape, or circular or polygonal in shape. Single large vacuole is present, found in soft parts of plants, and as well as the cortex in the sense outermost layer, as well as pith. Pith is a middle layer. What is its function? Parenchyma. The maximum parenchyma tissue performs storage. It stores the food in potatoes. Provides temporary support to the plant. Whatever the support required by the plant is provided temporarily by parenchyma. Some parenchyma cells, particularly in the leaf, contain chloroplast and are termed chlorenchyma. What is chlorenchyma? The parenchyma cells which are present contain what? Chlorophyll or chlorophyll pigment or chloroplast plastid. So they appear green in color. That is why the name, the parenchyma, is also called what? Chlorenchyma, in that position. Next, this is a picture of stomata, open and closed stomata. This is a section of a stem. Section in the sense a small thin slice which is taken and observed under microscope. This is the right hand side picture is transverse section, and left hand side picture is cross section. Transverse means lengthwise, vertical section. Cross section is horizontal section of a stem. See, this is a stem hair, a trichoma. Next, cuticle, epidermis, hypodermics, and then cortex, endodermis, pericycle, phloem, cambium. These are all what? Structures of stem. Next, collenchyma. What is the function of collenchyma? It is made up of cells which are elongated and the cell wall is thickened at the corners. Can you see the cells? Collenchyma, the middle one, collenchyma tissue. The cells are cylindrical in nature, are vertical in nature, arranged vertically, and the cell wall is very thick, especially at the corners. It is found in the leaf stalk below the epidermis of stem. Where it is found? Collenchyma cells, very important. You should learn properly where these tissues are located. Location is very important, and how cells look like. It is found in the leaf stalk below the epidermis of a stem. Leaf stalk in the sense how you hold the leaf. There should be a stalk, right? Yes, in that leaf stalk collenchyma tissue is present, and below the epidermis, epidermis just like a skin. Below the epidermis you can see collenchyma tissue. This tissue helps in support the parts of a plant. Next, sclerenchyma. The third picture. It is composed of long, narrow cells which have become dead. That is why you cannot see nucleus here. If the cell is dead, so that nucleus is also absent. Sclerenchyma consists of dead cells. The cells are long in nature, narrow in nature. These cells develop very thick walls due to deposition of lignin. Always the cell wall is made by lignin. If the cell wall is very thick, it is made by lignin. If it is thin, it is made by cellulose. Keep it in mind. In sclerenchyma cell, the cell wall is made up of what? Lignin. It is one of the complex sugar. The tissue provides strength to the plant parts. What is the function of sclerenchyma tissue? It provides strength to the plant parts. It is found in stem and veins of a leaf. Where it is located? In the stem. You know, stem is very strong in a plant body. So, wherever the strong body parts you can see in a plant, there sclerenchyma tissue is present. It is found in stems and veins of a leaf, or lines. Veins in the sense you can see a network or lines in a leaf. Those are veins. So, veins are made by what? Sclerenchyma tissue. Now, conducting tissue. As the name indicates, conduction. It is also called vascular tissue. Conductive tissue is also called vascular tissue. It provides a passage for water and dissolved materials to move up and down in a plant. So, conducting tissue conducts food and water to the plant body. The two types of conducting tissue are xylem and phloem. Xylem conducts water and mineral salts from the roots to other parts of a plant body, and phloem conducts food from leaves to other parts of a plant body. Now, first let's discuss about xylem. Xylem cells are elongated and thick-walled. They are also called, xylem and phloem are also called complex tissue. The tissue is made by more than one type of cell. That is why it is called complex tissue. They form a tubular passages, helps in upward movement of water and dissolved salts and absorbed from the soil by the roots to other parts of a plant. Here xylem cells, they are very elongated in nature, are lengthy in nature and thick-walled. They form a tubular passages. They just arranged like a drainage pipe and forms a tubular passages which helps in upward movement of water from the soil. Next, older xylem tissue forms the wood and does not participate in transport. Say for example, yearly once xylem tissue becomes wood and it is dead in nature, it will not conduct any water or mineral salts after 1 year. So by counting this wood, the layers of wood, also called annular rings, you can count the age of a tree. So we can determine the age of a tree by counting annular rings, that is xylem ring, which is formed each and every year once. Xylem is a complex tissue made up of tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. These are the cells of what? Xylem. Xylem is made by more than one type of cell, that is 4 type of cells. One is tracheid, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber. First, let's discuss about tracheids. Tracheids are made up of elongated dead cells with large cavities without any contents. How tracheids appear? How they look like? They are made up of elongated cells, dead cells with large cavities or holes without any content. Nothing inside a trachea. Why? Because these tracheids are dead in nature. Next, the cells are placed end to end, just like a drainage pipe, forming a long tube. They have highly lignified walls. The cell wall is made by what? Lignin, a complex sugar, which provides mechanical support. What is the function of trachea? Provides mechanical support to the xylem elements. Next, xylem vessels are tracheae. Xylem vessels are also called tracheae. Here, how they appear? Here they look like they are long tube-like structures meant for transport of water and dissolved minerals. Out of 4 xylem elements, which xylem element transports water and mineral salts? It's tracheae or xylem vessel. Just like how I have explained previous tissue. Just like that previous cell, the xylem vessel are just like a tracheid. They are arranged just like a drainage pipe. What is its function? It helps in transport of water as well as mineral salts. They are made up of elongated cells placed end to end. Cell wall are hard, thick and lignified. Cell wall is made by lignin. That is why it is very thick and strong. Transverse walls. Transverse walls are side walls are present in these pipe which get dissolved while transporting water and mineral salts. Next, xylem parenchyma. As I told you, parenchyma cells always helps in storage of food. It consists of living parenchyma cells, living, but it will not divide, associated with xylem. This cell serves for the storage of food and also helps in conduction of water and minerals. It helps in storage of food and also provide food to the xylem elements. Next, phloem. Phloem tissues, as I told you already, it provides food or it transports food to what? To different parts of a plant body. Where food is synthesized, where photosynthesis happens, in the leaf. So there food or glucose is synthesized. It is stored in the form of starch. From there, leaf is not only a part of plant. Other parts like stem, branches, roots, all these parts, flowers, fruits, all these requires what? Food. So food is supplied from leaf to other parts of a plant body through the phloem tissue. The cells provide a passage for the upward movement of food or downward movement of food manufactured in the leaves to various parts of a plant. This is a complex tissue made by more than one type of cell. Example, tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. These are the 4 different types of phloem tissue. First, let's discuss about sieve tube. Can you see the picture where sieve tube is exactly? It is made up of, sieve tube is made up of elongated cell placed end to end forming a long tube. The transverse walls are perforated or small holes are present in a transverse wall called sieve plate. Can you see the sieve plate? In between you can see a small holes or pores. They help in transport of food. Sieve tubes helps in transport of food from leaves to storage organs and other parts of a plant. Companion cells. These are living parenchyma cells closely associated with sieve tube cells. They help in functioning of sieve tube cells by providing food to it. Next, phloem parenchyma. Parenchyma tissue found associated with phloem, mainly concerned with storage of starch and fat, provides food to it. Phloem fibers, sclerenchymatous tissue. Phloem fibers are made by what type of tissue? Sclerenchyma tissue found associated with phloem. They mainly provide support to the phloem tissue. Xylem and phloem collectively form vascular bundles. They are present throughout the plant, especially they start from veins of a leaf. See, plant tissue, they are classified into 2 types, meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue, location based on location, its function is just increasing a height as well as size of a plant. Based on location, they are classified into 3 types, that is the terminal or tip apical meristem, sides lateral meristem, between intercalary meristem. Permanent tissues. When meristematic tissues lose the capability of cell division, it becomes permanent tissue. Permanent tissue is made up of 2 types of cell. One is simple permanent tissue, another one is complex permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue again classified into two types. Here, simple permanent tissue is made by only one type of cell, that is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Complex permanent tissue, it is made by more than one type of cell. Again, it is classified into two types, xylem and phloem. Xylem is made up of tracheids, xylem vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. Xylem parenchyma I have written twice, but it is only one. Tracheids, vessels are trachea, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. Phloem is made up of sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem fibers and phloem parenchyma. Practice this flow chart. Important questions are: what are the types of plant tissue? Meristematic and permanent. What are the types of meristematic tissue? What is its location? What are the types of permanent tissue? Based on what they are classified? Where they are located? Where parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma tissues are located? How cells look like? How they appear? Cell wall is made by what?